implicitly that the demands that they were making have been shelved. And they have to be shelved because there's no substance to it.
Right. Are you concerned about protest movements? We've seen a lot of protests. Some activists were arrested, put in jail. The opposition is saying you're trying to stifle dissent.
I'm not responsible for jailing people in Ghana. The courts in Ghana are independent institutions, and they have been all through this period of the Fourth Republic. People misconduct themselves and they're brought before court. It's for the court to deal with them. That's not a matter.
It has nothing to do about politics.
It has nothing to do with the executive. And their behavior is what lands them in problem with the police and with the courts. It's not the protests. How can the president, who himself, his political career was aided by leading protests, have problems with protests? I don't have problems with protests. And nothing is done in Ghana to prevent people from airing their views on anything.
One piece of good news for your vice president who's running is the agreement with your creditors. Ghana was in a very, very difficult situation. Right. 2 years ago, it defaulted on its debt repayments. Now there's just
It didn't default, it suspended them.
It suspended them.
It didn't default.
Right.
It's an important distinction.
Right, but you had some good news because there's an agreement with now nearly all your creditors.
Right.
How much of a sign is it for Ghana? Is it just a respite, or is it really a game changer for Ghana?
I think it's an important development because, first of all, it is a sign of the confidence that your creditors have in your economy. That 98.6% of those holding the commercial debt of Ghana have agreed on the reworking of the debt. That's what essentially the restructuring is about. They are going to, as from next week, exchange their bonds for new bonds which have a different maturity dates, different rates of interest. $13 billion of money was restructured as a result of this agreement. $5 billion equipment, 37% of the nominal value of our debt has been essentially cancelled, and another $4.3 billion of savings on interest will also accrue during the period. So altogether, you're talking about savings to the Ghanaian exchequer of something in the region of $10 billion. That's a significant amount of money. And what it is meaning is that Ghana as economy is now back to where it was before the crisis.
As a quick conclusion, you're confident that you will hand over the baton to your vice president?
I believe that first of all, he's waging a good campaign. He has a message that is resonating, especially with the young people in Ghana. And secondly, he has a good record to defend. Despite the economic difficulties, the Ghanaian people know that nearly 8 years in which we were in office were not wasted. We did a lot. Major reforms in education, in our health system, in our road infrastructure, in the development of the digital economy. They're key ingredients of the Ghanaian economy that have seen significant improvements and development since we came back. So there's a record on which he's campaigning. At the same time, he's also brought some new ideas to the surface, which are ideas, especially of how the young people can also now get involved in developing themselves and the nation's economy. And that is what is giving me confidence that he's going to win. And certainly that is my hope. But I believe that he will win, and that you'll remember this discussion when you hear the news that comes out of Accra.
President Nana Akufo-Addo, I want to thank you very much for granting